from a fallout shelter somewhere under Seattle, Washington, it's the show you've been waiting for. Get ready to join your hosts, John and Kenric, as they talk comics, movies, and more. Now here's Spoiler Country!
Alright, welcome back to Spoiler Country. I am not Kenric Regan. John Horsley, he's not here. For those of you guys who are diehard listeners of Spoiler Country, and I mean, if you listen to one episode, I have to imagine you guys are. I mean, they're the Cthulhu's and the Sea of podcast. But I was a part of the Infinity Wars 2-part they did. I think I chimed in like 20 words between the two of them. Man, if you listen to that, you might have picked up on the fact that Spider-Man, he's my favorite hero, and he's got a movie coming out, an animated feature, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, about Miles Morales, so I'm going to see it right now. On my way to the theater, and I thought I'd do a little Spoiler Country content for these guys. They're, one of my favorite podcasts. It's the holiday season. It's about giving, so here you guys go. If they decide to use this, you guys will listen to this thing, and a little pre-context about who Miles Morales is. So back in like the 2000s, early 2000s, Marvel decided to do like a reboot almost. They created the Ultimate Universe, 1616 versus the 616, which is where all the main heroes are. And in the Ultimate Universe, that's what they called it. It's kind of like, superheroes in the modern day. So Peter Parker getting his powers in the year 2000 versus when he got him in like the 60s. Times have changed. Bring him back to his youth. People love youthful Peter Parker. And it was a success. Brian Michael Bendis did a great job with it. And then, after a couple of years of it, he decided, let's kill Peter Parker. And the 616 did something similar later on. But at this point, this has never been really heard of. This is what, you're going to kill Peter Parker? And he brought in a new Spider-Man, Miles Morales, this multiracial kid in New York as well. His powers, he got him as well bitten by a spider, but his uncle was a villain. He still is a villain, and he stole the spider, and then he brought it home with him. Miles showed up, and the spider bit Miles, which is so they did a pretty accurate job of his actual origin in the video game. Only as Mary Jane, who inadvertently brought the spider to him, she was at Oscorp. When the spider showed up, it kind of crept, hid in her bag, and then she met up with Miles, and he got the spider, he got bit. And he's got a very similar power set to Spider-Man, the wet, spider sense, spider powers, everything a spider can. He can go camouflage, though. He's also got the venom touch, which, like, he touches you, you get his supporting cast is mostly Genki, who most people might kind of know as Ned Leeds these days, because they basically just took Genki's character and made him that for Spider-Man Homecoming. So I'm not sure if they're going to use him or what they're going to do. His parents are a pretty big role. His mom was dead in the Ultimate Universe, but he joined the 616, the main universe, after the events of Secret Wars. That was 2015, I think. The two universes collided. This patch world happened. Dr. Doom was the king of it all. And Miles Morales met the Molecule Man, who was kind of, organizing it all, and the guy was hungry, so Miles gave him a cheeseburger. And that's thanks to that he brought his whole pocket of the Ultimate Universe into Manhattan. And as we found out at the end of the Brian Michael Bendis run, his uncle came back to life as well, because his mom was dead, she came back to life, and now his uncle, who, he died. He was the Prowler of the Ultimate Universe. This was like the first big bad Miles fought. And then he came back, and later as the Iron Spider. That's kind of what he's doing right now. And I don't know too much about the movie. I like to watch the first trailer, like, hey, announcement, here it is. After that, I try not to watch any of the trailers, so that way I don't know anything about what's going on. Obviously, it's a Spider-Verse title, so it's going to be different Spider-Man. You got Peter Parker in there. Obviously, everyone knows Peter Parker. You got Peter Porker, the Spider-Ham. You got Spider-Man Noir. You got SP//DR, which is like a girl who goes into a spider suit. And you got Spider-Gwen. I think that's the cast. There might be some more surprise people as well. I'm pretty sure it's Sony Animations who's making this, and I know they make some banging movies. I might be completely off on what they make, but Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 1 and 2, two of my favorite movies. I can watch those. I usually watch them like once a year. The Hotel Transylvania films, the Adam Sandler animated movies, they got those as well. So, I'm positive that's going to be a good movie. The animation from that, initial trailer looks so good. I love that style. So I'm excited about this, and when I'm done with the movie, I'll come back out and I'll do the post-movie. This is like the pre-talk. Now we're going to go and then we'll do the post-talk. Alright, so, movie just ended, and oh my god, dude, it was amazing. John Kenric, if you guys were on the fence about it, definitely go and see it. If you know Miles' origin story, which I kind of went over briefly in the little intro talk, there's not too many spoilers to the movie. It's pretty, I actually do a really good job of sticking with some of the key points of it, and it was just overall amazing. We're gonna just start recapping it. I'm gonna give you guys some thoughts. So I guess, this is like that spoiler part where I, reveal Infinity War, Peter Parker's fate. And, alright. So obviously, it's about Miles. He's the main character. He's, at a new school, the Brooklyn Vision Academy, whatever it is. Like, he won a lottery, which was accurate in the comic books as well. And his dad's a police officer here. Not sure. He was a SHIELD agent in the comic books. So they kind of, still keeping that whole awfulness. He also had a lot of history with his uncle, or with his brother, Miles' uncle, who we also meet, Uncle Davis. He's a crook character. Miles likes to draw graffiti stuff in this universe, like part of the art stuff. So Aaron takes him to a subway area where they do like some graffiti on a wall that his dad couldn't find because dad found something. Like, hey, you gotta take this stuff down. And at his school, there's a girl. It's a girl who looks like Gwen Stacy. She kind of told them her name's Wanda at first, but it is Gwen. And she's there, and they're like, oh, ha ha ha. So was there a Gwen in this Earth as well? That's kind of raising some questions right there. That's a red flag. You also see that there is a Spider-Man alive right now. And he's swinging around. He's a big-time hero. He's been Spider-Man for 10 years, it said. So he's like mid I think he's 26, they said at one point. So he's still, Spider-Man here. He's got a Christmas album out. He's fighting. There's like a whole montage of his stuff. And a lot of them were from like the movies. Like him stopping the train from Spider-Man 2. They kind of made fun of Spider-Man 3 when he does the dance while he was Peter, woman beater, and even here he's like, we don't talk about that. It's kind of like the Justice League joke, or Green Lantern joke from Teen Titans Go to the Movies, where Green Lantern's like, I had a movie, but we don't talk about it. It was one of those sort of jokes. But when they go to do the graffiti stuff, it's a place that Davis knows, the uncle. He's like, yeah, I know this place, and there's a spider there, and it's like a super-powered charged spider, and it's at like an Alchemax building. And you saw when Peter met Gwen, they were watching a news presentation, like a documentary about, multiple timeline theories, and it was like at an Alchemax building. You hear Fisk's name in there as well. This girl works for Fisk, and she's kind of dealing with these mutated teleportation powers and all that sort of stuff. What else? See, he gets bit by the spider, and he kind of sleeps, and he wakes up. He's got spider powers. All of a sudden, he's sticking to walls. He's sticking to everything. He leaps over a car, or he gets hit by a car. He's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. That's very similar to what Peter went through when he first got his powers. Like how he reacted to it. There's a little moment with Gwen where he gets his hand stuck in her hair because his uncle told him to touch the shoulder and go, hey girl. It wasn't hey girl, just hey. That's like how you're supposed to approach girls, and that's how you get them to like you and everything. So he tries that, and it doesn't really work well, but he sticks to her because of his spider power. That's part of the Spider-Man thing. That's how he sticks to walls and everything. So he's got some problems going on there. So now he's kind of got these spider powers, but he wants to go and check the spider because, I got bit by a spider. It's so similar to Spider-Man. Let's go investigate the spider. And at the time when it bit him, it was like all fueled and supercharged, but now it's just dead. And he goes to investigate it. That's where we see Spider-Man. He's in a big battle with the Green Goblin. This Green Goblin looks more like the Ultimate Universe's one than the one from the 616, and they're having a big battle, and the Prowler shows up as well. So the two of them are putting some beatings on Spider-Man, Peter Parker Spider-Man, and Miles is kind of there. He's like avoiding everything, but he sees Spider-Man. He's like, hey. And, Peter's like, yeah, I'll train you. Don't worry, kid. You're like me, because somehow their spider senses let each other know that they're both good guys. Like, oh, you're like me, kid. All right. So yeah, I'll train you. We'll get through this all together if we make it out of this. Now, as they're doing this, there's like a beam thingy. And you see it's Wilson Fisk. He's working on a portal machine. He wants to, explore other universes. He's looking for something. And Spider-Man, it's Peter Parker Spider-Man. He's there to stop it. And it doesn't. And he's unsuccessful. But the machine wasn't ready, and it blows up. I know that's Peter's interference, Spider-Man's interference, but he gets like zapped by the thingy. So he kind of sees a vision of what this beam is, and he tells Fisk that's not going to work. But he told Miles to hide first, and then he's kind of caught underneath rubble. Fisk shows up with Prowler and the Goblin. He just does like a finishing blow, and he kills Spider-Man, which we'll talk about later. So Spider-Man's dead now. Miles kind of runs away. He gets out of there safely, but Fisk puts out in the news that Spider-Man's dead, and we don't get to see J. Jonah Jameson's approach. He's actually not in this movie until later. I wonder what he would have thought about this moment. So then it's like on the news, like, it's Peter Parker, the Spider-Man. Mary Jane gives a speech at this funeral. Miles is there, he has these powers. Peter Parker was going to train him, but he died. That's when you see another Spider-Man show up, and Miles accidentally activates his Venom touch, and he zaps the Peter Parker dude. And we can see his origin. This is something that they do throughout the whole movie. Every time they introduce a Spider-Man, they kind of show their origin story. Like, oh, you know my story. I was bit by a spider, and then this happened, and then this happened. It kind of goes over their whole origin. Like, it started with Spider-Man. This is Peter B. Parker. It's the second Peter Parker. So if that's the difference between Peter Parker, Peter B. Parker. He's been Spider-Man a little bit more. I think it was 16 years. He got divorced from MJ. He kind of, went through a little bit of a depression, gained some weight, and he's there. He doesn't know why he's there. He just, he got zapped, and he showed up here. So Miles is like, hey, you gotta train me. Come on, train me. But this guy, he's kind of old. He's kind of lost that whole heroic way about him. He's like, no, kidding. I gotta get home. And before Peter died, he gave Miles a chip, a USB drive. And when he was trying to train before, he didn't have someone to teach him. He fell and he broke it. So he gives it to this guy. Like, here, I got this thing. He's like, oh, Peter Parker must have made this thing. All right, let me take this and I'll get out of here in a jiffy, but it's broken. So he's got to find a way to fix it. So they go to the Alchemix lab where the machine was underneath one of them. And Miles is like, oh, hey, I saw this place in a video about multiple universes and everything. I'm sure they got the stuff. So this other universe Spider-Man, he's like, all right, here's the plan. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to steal all the information that your Peter Parker stole because you broke this drive. And then I'm going to use this USB chip to get myself back home. So he goes and he tries to steal it. But they run into the girl that was from the video, and she kind of examining him, then she ties him up. Find out her name is Liv Octavius. This is one of the things that was kind of caught me off guard, that this was going to be Dr. Octopus. I thought that was just like a random character, but she ended up being the Dr. Octopus of this universe. So she's fighting alternate universe Peter Parker, and Miles kind of, at this point, he's learned about his invisibility powers. He doesn't know how to control them, but he's invisible. So Peter's like, get out of here, take the flash drive. Yeah, put the password in, and then I'll take care of her. And he just ends up taking the whole drive. And Zoolander's like, the files are in the computer. And then he doesn't break it like that. He kind of just takes the drive. He's like, all right, if we have the drive, we could, get everything. As they go, they get out of there in one piece, but then Dr. Octopus chases them through the woods, and it's like around this point where Peter's always been dealing with it, alternate universe. And he was talking to Miles, like, he's not from this universe, and being away from his is kind of giving him glitches. It seems like a very usual thing in out of time universes, when there's one central one. The longer you're in one, the more destructive you become. Like, you get all glitchy and everything. So that's kind of another reason why he's got to get out of there ASAP. And we find out that the Gwen that was at Brooklyn Vision, she is Spider-Gwen. She's the Gwen or Spider-Woman from a different timeline. They kind of show her origin story, the same style that everyone else is. She beats up Octavius pretty quickly. They're all able to go. They realize that in order to really get this done, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to talk to Aunt May, because she's got, go to Peter's old room, see if he's got anything, and they get them. And they find out that, Aunt May's got everything there. He had like a spider cape, pretty much. It was like a huge Spider-Man hangout he had. It was a shed in the Ultimate Universe. Peter Parker's like, yeah, I have one of these too. There's a couple gizmos in there, but then it's like a whole elevator, and you go down to a bottom floor where there's just everything in there. It's crazy stuff. And it's in there that Aunt May's like, oh, you guys thought you were the first ones? Because they kind of go out to the funeral site, because everyone knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, so there's like all these decorations outside where, people left gifts for her, because they know what her nephew had done for everybody. So, there's a lot of memorial services and just things going on. She's like, no, come on, guys, we're done with all this stuff. And that's when she sees alternate reality Peter Parker. And when Peter first showed up, this alternate one, when Miles zapped him, he was unconscious. Miles tied him up on like a punching bag, and he started going through all these questions, like, all right, who are you? What's the deal? And he just kind of, on his third try, like, so you're like a multiversal version of Peter Parker. You have no idea why you're here, and you're just, you just saw the dead person. He's like, oh, wow, you got that pretty quickly. Yeah, pretty smart. So now they got Gwen there, and Aunt May, when they're down there, she's like, yeah, you're not you weren't the first ones. And that's when we see Spider-Man Noir, SPDR, and Spider-Ham. And Spider-Ham's just the coolest dude. He's like a Looney Tune character, and it's John Mulaney who voices him, and then he's just got a little kick of comic relief. It's a beautiful thing. He's great in it, and he's just such a funny character. So now you got all these Spider-Man, and they're playing, and Miles is like, I want to be a part of this too. I made a promise to Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and he couldn't do anything when Spider-Man died by Fisk. And they're like, nah, kid, you gotta get out of here. So he goes to try and find his uncle, and that's when the Prowler shows up there. But he escapes, but that's when he finds out that the Prowler is his uncle, which I kind of said in the pre-show thingy that, his uncle was the Prowler. So he finds out at this point. He runs when the Prowler kind of spotted him, so he follows him. So Miles goes back to, Aunt May's place, where all the other Spider-Men are hanging out, and unbeknownst to Miles, that he accidentally just brought all of the villains there. So there's this huge battle that goes on there. They're all trying to get the flash drive. And it's a pretty cool fight scene here. You see all the guys going, and Scorpion shows up. There's a Scorpion in this universe as well. And he fights alongside Prowler and Octavius. And it goes all right. Prowler and Miles are on the roof because Peter's like, get out of here, leave, and the Prowler follows him. They're on the roof, and Kingpin shows up. He's like, kill the kid. And Prowler's got Miles, choked, choking him out, and Miles takes off his mask. And at this point, he's wearing like a Halloween costume Spider-Man suit. And the alternate universe Peter Parker, he kind of went through an impression he's getting some weight. He's been wearing sweatpants. I think at this point he might be wearing like an actual suit, but for a while he was, and he was kind of grumpy, and now he's kind of, seeing things in a new light. He said the main reason him and Mary Jane didn't work out on his planet was because she wanted kids, and he was never really on board with that. But now, kind of training Miles, he's starting to see, he can be a good mentor. He did a good job with Miles. He kind of taught him how to not stick to stuff. He kind of taught him the web swinging stuff, and that was true of the comics as well, where Peter, he got Peter's gear for the web sling. That's how he got his web stuff. He didn't make his own web shooters. It's a big fight, and Kingpin kills Uncle Davis because he wouldn't kill Miles. Miles took off his mask, and then he gets shot, and Miles takes the body into an alleyway, and he's like, dude, I wanted to be a good role model to you. Do good, kid. And then he dies. And Miles meets back up with everybody else. They still have the flash drive. And they're going to, go to Alchemax. They're going to use the chip. They're going to fix everything. They're going to all go back to their timelines, but one of them's going to have to stay back and hit the destroy button because they don't trust Miles at this point. They don't think he's ready for this sort of mission. But Miles is still adamant that he is. And then that is when Peter, pushes him to the limit. Like, kid, all right, if you want to do it, you gotta zap me right now. Use your electric blast. Turn invisible. Do something. But he can't at this point because he doesn't know how to do it on command. So Peter's like, yeah, that's what I thought. And then he kind of just webs them up to a chair, and they're like, all right, we're gonna go leave. So they do that. They leave him there, and that's when, at this point, the father just found out about Uncle Davis, so he kind of goes and he tries to talk to Miles. He's like, hey, I don't know if you saw the news, but your uncle, he's gone. And I know I've been kind of, don't do this stuff, but he gives him some inspirational speech about how he's like the lightning boy. He's a spark. There's something to him, and, they got to just embrace it. They got to encourage it. This is the speech Miles needs. Like, his whole eyes turn like sparky sparks. He's like, yes, I'm with you guys. Let's do this. That's his big motivation. He goes down to Aunt May's area, and she's like, oh, what took you so long? So then, he takes a costume, he spray paints it the Ultimate Universe version, and like when he, before Peter left him, he's like, dude, it's all just a leap of faith. You don't know when you're ready to be Spider-Man. You just gotta do that leap of faith, then you'll know. And then so Miles like, all right, leap of faith time. He does. And then he starts swinging, he's mastered it. He's like, all right, I got it. I'm Spider-Man now. I'm ready for this. I'm gonna go help him. And they go there. So now we're at Alchemax. They got the whole machine ready to go. We find out Kingpin's trying to get his wife and son back. Because in this planet, they died. Because one night, Kingpin was fighting Spider-Man, and the wife and kids saw it. They're like, oh my God, what are you doing? He's like, leave. And they leave, but they leave for good. But before they can, officially get out of there, they get hit by a car. And they died. So he's trying to find another universe to get them back. Or get another version of them and just bring them back to this one. And he's got it all up. All the spider people, they're climbing on the walls. They find the switch. They're getting ready to do it. But it's an ambush. The villains knew about it. So Scorpion and Dr. Octopus are them with these tentacles. They both have, tentacles, and the stingers are pretty, good foes for these guys. And it's not going too well because every time they kind of zip away, they glitch a little bit. It's not going well. And then all of a sudden, Miles shows up. But he's invisible. So he starts messing with Dr. Octopus, and then he helps them all out. And the whole, they get ready. And so now Miles is there to help out. And Kingpin finally shows up. He's like, oh, this is it. I've had enough of this. And at this point, SPDR went back, and her robot suit got destroyed. But it was connected by an actual spider. She had like a bond with a spider that was inside. It helped her with the robot. But we missed the whole other scene too. At one point, it wasn't like very important to the whole thing, but when they got in to get into this underground base, they had to sneak in. This was before Miles joined them, and there was like a whole dinner going on the top floor of the building, and that was where Kingpin was. And it was like a whole ceremony to Spider-Man. So, and all the servers had Spider-Man masks on, so all the heroes were like, oh, is it going to be the season? And they just walk in because they're wearing Spider-Man masks, so they kind of just look like the Hulk. They all wear bow ties as well. And it's like, oh, this worked a lot easier than I thought. And then alternate universe Peter Parker, 6 years older, divorced from Mary Jane, sees this universe as Mary Jane, and he gets all like, oh no, I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you, but you need bread, and I will bring you bread, and I'll give you the best bread. And it was like a whole, oh, I'm not your Peter Parker, so I don't know why I'm so attached. So now we're back in the fight scene. And it's just Peter and Miles at this point. Everybody else went back to their universe. And every time they went through the portal, like you saw like the whole Earth switch to their style. Because each character had their own style to them, you know. SPDR had more of a manga style. Noir's black and white. Spider-Ham's like a Looney Tune character. Spider-Gwen's got her whole... I mean, she looked very similar to them. She had like her own little pizzazz to her as well. And as they're fighting Kingpin, you know, Peter's like, kid, get out of here. I'll keep him busy. You hit the button. And he's like, no, you got to get back to your universe. Because Peter was going to stalk. And Peter's like, I can't let Spider-Man die. Miles is like, I can't let Spider-Man die either. So they're both like, all right, kid, you got this. So now Miles versus Kingpin, one-on-one. Kingpin's already killed Spider-Man. He's like, I'm going to kill another Spider-Man. And they have a huge epic battle. And it's like zero gravity here. So these guys are all just fighting each other. And these super big hits are going on. And then Miles' dad shows up as a police officer. You know, there's been like earthquakes all over the place. And it's because of these people. So, you know, he's down there. He sees Miles and he's getting his butt kicked. And then Kingpin hits him with a fist that killed Spider-Man. And he's like, ugh. He's going in and out of consciousness. And he sees his dad. And he's like, come on, Spider-Man, get up. It's because he saw Spider-Man, you know, when he was still in the Halloween costume when his uncle died. He saw him by his uncle. When that happened, Miles was kind of still shook up about that. He was telling the other Spider people about it, and you know that loss is part of all their mythologies. You know, it's Peter Parker, it's Uncle Ben, and for Spider-Gwen, they kind of said in her origin as well, it's Peter Parker. He became the Lizard because he wanted to be like her. He tried to experiment. He became the Lizard, and he died. And that, or at least in the comic books, that's what happened. So even he was like, she's like, you know, we all lost people. We're the people that can understand your pain. You know, and at one point, even like when he found out Prowler was his uncle, Noir's like, geez, this is a really messed up origin story, guys. Which I thought was like a nice little ha-ha. But epic fight goes on. He gets up and he hits him with the zapper. He still has to hit the green button to turn it all off. And he swings like a shocked Kingpin into the button and just... And like after the dust clears, the cops are all there and they see Kingpin is webbed up and you see from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That kind of ends on a good note, but they kind of show each universe. Or at least Peter Parker. Yeah, each one of these characters are a little bit happier now. They've all grown up. You know, Spider-Gwen kind of isolated herself from people after what happened with her powers. Now she's got a friend. She's got Miles. So it kind of shows her looking at a picture. Peter Parker goes to talk to Mary Jane finally. You know, he's grown up a little bit. He saw kids aren't that bad, so he goes to talk to her. She's kind of happy to see him. Noir got a Rubik's Cube because I guess, you know, everything's black and white. He didn't know what colors were, so he was confused by it, but he brought it back to his universe. SPDR's got her ship all fixed, so she's all happy to go. And then Miles just doesn't flip. It goes to credits. The nice little tribute to Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And Stan Lee's cameo was when Miles went to pick up the Halloween costume spider suit. You know, the Stan Lee, they're like, don't worry, kid, it'll fit you eventually. It always fits. There's a nice little moment where he kind of tells Miles, you know, don't give up. It'll fit you eventually. You just got to grow into it. And then the post-credits scene was Nueva York. Yeah, Spider-Man 2099. The Spider-Man of the future. He's like his robot assistant computer service girl. Was kind of giving him the update on what just happened. So he's like, oh, great. And he gets a portal watch. And he's like, are you going to go? He's like, I'm going to go back to the beginning. And then it's him back in like the 60s Spider-Man cartoon, where the famous meme of the pointing was going on. And it's just the Spider-Man pointing, and it's the other Spider-Man is just a color to look like Spider-Man 2099, the traditional look. And he's like, well, you're doing this, I'm doing this, what are you doing? They just keep pointing, and it was just the greatest thing of all time. So, in my podcast, I don't really do movie reviews. I do comic book reviews. I like to give Eli awards. That's enjoyment, the look, and the intrigue. I mean, enjoyment. I didn't talk about him too much. It wasn't too much of the story, but just Spider-Ham was so great in this. Like, it's just comedic relief. He was awesome. Just all the different styles, too. I mean, I guess that's part of the look, but just how each one had their own look to them was so cool. And seeing them all like interact with each other was just a lot of fun. The look was the one point where Miles first does like the leap of faith, and it's just like this super cool moment. This whole sequence just looks amazing. The whole movie looks amazing. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's really good. Then the intrigue was more about the spider, because it was in the multiversal place. So they do a sequel and stuff. He's spider fueled by this like juice that they've been using down there. Was that kind of what radiated it? And is he going to be more connected to the multiverse, or is that how he got his Venom Blast and his invisibility for this universe? Is that how they're going to explain it? Who knows? I guess we'll find out if they ever make a sequel to it. So yeah, if you guys made it through the end of this and you were kind of on the fence of going to see Spider-Man Edge of Spider-Verse, or Into the Spider-Verse, go see it, dude. It was amazing. And hopefully this didn't deter you from seeing it. So yeah, see you guys.
Wow. Can you believe that?
That was cool. We got that email. I was like, what?
I know. What the heck, man? That was amazing. Thank you, Eli, so much. I mean, seriously, Thank you so much. That was awesome. And you know what? He doesn't even know how awesome it was because of how busy we've been, how much of a saving grace that really is.
Yeah, because you saw Spider-Verse, right?
I did. So, I mean, do you want me to tell you how I think about it?
Go ahead.
I think it's the greatest Spider-Man movie ever done.
That's what I've heard from everybody. Literally everyone I know who's seen it said the same thing.
It is so freaking good, dude. It is so freaking. The animation is good. The storytelling is good. It made me a fan of Miles Morales as fucking Spider-Man. Perfect. Everything, dude. It was so. I wanted to watch it again. I literally wanted to go and just stay in my seat and watch it a second time.
See, and this week, like, you and I had planned out going and seeing that and doing a review on it last Monday, or over a week ago, and I just could not get to the theater. It just didn't happen. I tried. We had plans to go see it Friday night, didn't happen. We had plans to see it Saturday, couldn't happen. We had plans to see it
in the theater,
recording
man.
It today.
You have to go see it in the theater.
I'm going to.
You will regret if you don't.
No, I'm going to go see it. I'm going to take the kids to go see it sometime this week.
It's funny. It's, I don't know, man. There's a couple scenes that are tough. You're like, ooh, and I don't mean like tough and done badly. It's just like, it was just like hard to watch. It was like, oh my god, I can't believe they just did that. They don't hold any punches, man, and they go for it. And I don't know, man. The story was great. Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah, Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah, I mean, he can weave a story, man. And he was the executive producer on that movie, so they had the right people involved. They did such a great job, and it just made me more excited, Andrew Sumner, for the Titan.
Oh, the book.
Oh, because dude, and I'm not kidding, dude. When you're watching that movie, every fucking scene is beautiful, and you're just like, what the fuck, man? Why can't
they
do
when they dropped the first
all
trailer
their movies like that?
Yeah, I remember when they dropped the first trailer. It was like you could literally pause on any scene that was poster. Like almost any scene was poster.
Dude, it is so good. It really is.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to like it. You know what I mean? So I went in with the positive attitude already, but I didn't know I was going to love it like that. And I was just like, oh my God, now I want to go and get that whole series.
Yeah, dude, Miles is a cool character. I tried telling you that before, and now you've experienced Miles.
Yeah, well, my whole thing wasn't that I didn't like Miles as a character.
I know.
It wasn't that. It was just like they were calling him Spider-Man. But then but I didn't know the whole story. And then watching it in the theater and seeing how they broke out all the different universes, it's just like, it makes total sense. And there was a Spider-Man in his universe. And it's just, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't know how much you know of the story. I know you know quite a bit of it because you've explained it to me, but at the same time, I don't know that you've actually read it. Is that fair?
I've read pieces of it.
Yeah.
I've read the part where,
and I don't know how closely this follows the comic book because I don't know it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I've read the part where Parker dies and Miles becomes Spider-Man in the Ultimate Universe. I've not read all of the Ultimate Universe, but I've read at least that much of it. But yeah, I remember they announced this movie way back when they announced that Sony was doing an animated Spider-Man. I remember being pissed. I remember like, why is Sony doing an animated Spider-Man movie? That's just dumb and confusing. But
oh my God, dude, they nailed it, and the artwork is so good, and the direction and the way I don't know, the stylization of the art is just so well done. It's just like, this is Sony doing something right. You know what I mean? And it makes you mad because you're like watching it and you're like, why did you do Venom that way when you could do this?
Right.
And you're putting this out there. And it's like, you know, and it just makes, you know, I don't know. I did a comparison. Morgan did a ask why he goes out. He liked the Venom. Morgan Iverson, our buddy over there at Color Commentary and the creator of Lumberjacks and everything. He's a really good guy. And he asked, and my only analogy, I was like, look, this is what's wrong with Venom is the fact you took a literary character that's been around for a long time now, has a lot of backstory. So why not take Sherlock Holmes, make him a bartender, instead of having powers of observation, he makes a really good drink. And that's what you did.
Yeah, and that is such a spot on like commentary on that movie that I'm like, yes, that's perfect.
Well, thank you.
Words. It's like, yep, that's spot on.
So Eli,
it's not bad. It's not Venom.
Yeah, it's not Venom. It's not Venom.
But Eli,
dude, you are the man. That was one. That was an awesome review. 2, it came at a time when we are having so much trouble trying to release anything right now because we're both just overworked and family commitments and it being the holidays. So you have no idea.
So you saved our bacon there.
How much you just saved our bacon.
Yeah. We appreciate that a lot.
We love you. We love you hard.
we need to make sure we have him on for our next Avengers review when that movie comes out.
Oh yeah. And you know, and people listening, check out Eli's own podcast. And Johnny,
do you know the name of it?
I always mess this up.
The Not So Crazy podcast was Blizzard the Wizard and Eli.
That's right. And Blizzard the Wizard is Eli's cat, and he loves that cat. And if you follow him on Twitter or on Facebook, you will see many Blizzard pictures. I love it.
You know, I remember when you first showed me that podcast, I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But after talking to Eli and getting to know Eli and listening to the podcast times, I get it now.
It's just, he just has a very unique sense of humor. And I don't know, I love it. I love listening to his stuff because he does like a whole like play-by-play of the comic book in a way. And it's just funny. Yeah. I don't know. I have a lot of fun with it. And he uses that really high-pitched, fast voice for Blizzard. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. It cracks me up. Every time I listen to it, I crack up.
Right. He's I don't know. He's an on-tap gem.
So there you guys go. So we hope you enjoyed the Into the Spider-Verse review with Eli. And when Johnny gets a chance to listen to it, well, maybe we'll do another one. But I think that was probably good enough, man. That was awesome.
Man. I mean, I'll post my thoughts on Twitter on the website. But I mean, this is
you know what? We'll do a small one for Drinks and Comics on the YouTube.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Perfect.
Hey guys. As you know, you're already listening to us, but tell your friends about us because we're heard everywhere podcasts are heard. So wherever they're listening to their podcast, tell them to look us up and they can download us and get to know what a good podcast sounds like.
Right. A good quality family friendly podcast.
Yes, family fucking friendly. We're on all the social medias, so if you're inclined, please reach out and we'll reach out and we'll virtually shake hands and we'll get to know each other and hopefully have you join us for this journey going through all the geekdom as geekdom goes.
Yeah, that is. And if you want to call and leave us a voicemail, you can call us at 707-656-2080. Again, 707-656-2080. You can call and leave a voicemail and tell us what you thought of Spider-Verse, and we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I would love to hear that. That'd be awesome. So, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. That's a show, man. Again, thank you so much, Eli. And thank you, Blizzard, and thank everybody involved with Eli and Blizzard.
That's right. Hey, and don't forget, open your mind.
Read more. See ya.